Yep.
You've been in the industry for a very, very long time, and you've seen trends, technologies, et cetera, come and go. So I don't want to feature on why, or rather, what features or functions of AdaptOne that appeal to you. I want to ask you from a professional standpoint. First of all, why AdaptOne? Why did you choose AdaptOne?
We we selected AdaptOne because of their capability with subcontractors and their experience around subcontractor requirements, including the safety piece, agreements, payment schedules, those sort of things. And so, because one of the areas that we were struggling in was we'd have supervision in the field say, okay, we want to add this subcontractor to do X work. But then, we weren't getting their insurance stuff, we weren't getting agreements signed, and it was just causing a lot of headaches. So that's the initial reason why we selected AdaptOne.
Okay, now so let me ask you this because there's a lot of solution providers there. I'm sure you're mind boggled by the solution maps with
Oh
all the
yeah.
logos, etc. I mean, how did you come to because other organizations, other solution providers have similar capabilities, one would assume.
Yep.
What was it? How did you come to find Adapt One? Like, did somebody refer them? Did you do research? I mean, so that's the first part of the question. How did you find them in the first place in that the needle in the haystack that is the solution map world?
It actually just started with research. We looked at three different similar companies, and we did the research piece. We were looking for companies that knew that at least worked in our industry before, and they were one that popped up, and so that's how we initially found them. And then, of course, we started having conversations with all three. And one of the things that led us to AdaptOne was their ability to customize the tool. And so the other two that we were really talking to was really a set framework. It was sort of you got to fit into their box. And then I'm not saying, John, not saying the box was bad. It was just you had to fit into the box. Where AdaptOne, they said, hey, we'll make it look and act however you want to make it look and act. And that's exactly what we needed.
So they're basically problem solvers, not technology pushers, so to speak. In other words, they didn't create the technology and say, okay, let's find a problem to solve. They said, we understand the business in the background. Let's create the technology to meet this specific problem.
No, that's exactly it. Yeah, it was not a one shop and you're done, right? It was and honestly, at times we were like, what did we just bite off here, right? Because they are asking you so many questions, and they dive deep into your business. And for me and my group, we were like, whoa, why do they want to know so much? And then at the end product, you understand why.
Right.
Because we have dealt with those other. I mean, we do have other systems that are just a platform, right? And you plug into their platform and you go.
You just boom, that's it. All right. So now let me ask you this, because again, one of the things I note from what you're saying is your success actually started with you taking the initiative for the success. In other words, you knew what you were looking for. You took ownership of the process of selection. You took, I would imagine, ownership for the implementation, collaborating with them in these JAD sessions, etc. I mean, how actively involved were you, and how directly or indirectly responsible were you for your own success?
We were very actively involved. You have to be to get to where we wanted it to be. I don't think you could not have been active and really got the tool that you needed the tool to be. And so, yes, it was a lot of sessions discussing what we wanted. And then not only that, it turns into at the same time, AdaptOne's going, well, don't forget you can do this and we can do this. And what about this? And so you're constantly evolving it to figure out exactly what you need it to be. But no, we were not. When we selected AdaptOne, we'd never heard of them before. They'd never sent us some, email or cold called or any of that kind of stuff. We went and found them.
Okay, so one final question now, post decision, looking back at it,
Yep.
I guess there's two parts to this question. Is number one, that relationship is the key. In other words, you
Yeah.
you work well together. It isn't just the technology; it's the problem solving, the look at this, and communication. With that in mind, what challenges would you say you faced with AdaptOne that you maybe didn't expect, or were they minimized? Like just an honest assessment, James.
The biggest I'd say challenge that we faced with AdaptOne was it was too many options and too much to really kind of overtake at once. And I remember about halfway through the process, we had to kind of take a time out and go, wait, hold on, let's focus on three areas that we're trying to solve for, and let's do that, and then we'll come back and we'll attack the other areas because the team over there is really good, but they're really good at saying, we can do this and we can do that, and let's look at this, and it overwhelmed our team.
So you had to it's like having a buffet with 10,000 options on there. Which ones do
Yeah,
you want to get?
yes,
And yes, and which
exactly.
ones do I want to leave? And then when we look back and say, I'm sorry, I missed these. James,
Yep.
is it safe to sum up is that, again, they were problem solvers, but who was always at the helm of the project and the initiative success was you and your team. I mean, that's ultimately taking responsibility.
Exactly. Yes, they'll problem solve. They'll create a tool that you want it to look the way you want it to look. But if you're not actively involved in telling them what your business needs out of them, they can't create what you need them to create. So you've got to be an active participant.
Excellent. James, listen, I appreciate your time this morning. Short but sweet, but as you can see, I take a different angle from the analyst standpoint. It's not a features, functions, and benefits. It's a problem solving and ability to communicate and collaborate that matters the most. And to your point about taking the ownership, that is so very, very important. Yet it's very few organizations that do. Many will just say, okay, I abdicate that responsibility. You didn't. So that's really the secret to your success as well, I think.
I think so. And then, I mean, the other part I'll just throw in there is, there was very few calls that the owner of AdaptOne wasn't on the call, or whatever his title is, CEO, president, whatever. He was almost always on the calls, and that always impressed me that he was taking the time. So,
All right. Well, James, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much again for your time
yep,
today.
no problem.
Take,
Thanks, John.
take care.